Good morning, everyone. You are watching 360 Live Show by Transport Times. In today's show, we have a very special guest joining us from Uttar Pradesh. He is known for his administration work and he's a very promising civil officer in India. He's handling a role as additional mission director for National Health Mission in UP, Uttar Pradesh, and also he's a honorary advisor member of Model Gav. That's a mission he's right now working on. He's also known for executing some NGO work and also helping people. Those are aspirant UPSC candidate to prepare for for exams and also helping them to understand how to pass exams and also guide them in a right direction. So, welcome, Dr. Hiralal on Transcontinental Times.
Thank you. Welcome for giving me the opportunity. It is a pleasure of mine.
Great to know, sir. Sir, just walk us through your journey. What inspired you to join a civil services, being an electrical engineer, and during your early life, how you made it possible? Because that time when you joined civil service, it was so difficulties, right? So no, there was no technology, there was limited resources. So how you manage that? If you could give some kind of pointers to get to know about your journey, it would be great.
Actually, I was inspired by my father. My father was pursuing agriculture during my childhood because I belong to a farming family. I I spent my childhood in my village, and my father was doing agriculture because it is our profession of my village as well as my house, my family. After completing my 8th class, I went to GIC Basti, Government Inter College Basti. Till 8th class, I did my primary schooling from primary school, and thereafter from 6th to 8th, I completed from a private aided school. During 8th class, I appeared in an integrated scholarship scheme, and I selected in that. In through this scholarship, I got admission in GIC Basti. One thing, I got 100 rupee scholarship and hostel facility. So this integrated scholarship scheme helped me to come from rural area to urban area in GIC Basti. So no doubt the childhood was having many difficulties. There was no nearby schools for doing ninth and onwards. We have to go in the cities. So this is a short story regarding my childhood.
Sir, but you rightly mentioned scholarship also help you to get that kind of confidence and enable that platform. But there are many poor people, poor families living in India, right? So how you see those poor family? If they are not aware about scholarship, they are not even understand what they have to do. So what is your the advice for such kind of families? Those are looking for a platform. Their family members looking to become IPS officers, IS officers. How they can start? What do you think? What would be the starting point for them?
Actually, during 30 years back and now, there is a great difference. During my time, internet was not there. Now, in every family, in almost every family, there is a internet. So internet made the things very easy to take any guidance, to know anything through search engine. Google are many engines are there, search engines are there. So if you want to do anything, you can search knowledge about that particular thing. It may be is preparation, it may be to purchase anything, to go any place, to go any city. Everything made easy by search engines. So I would like to advise, if anybody wish to do civil services tayari, there are materials by selected candidates in the form of video, in the form of audio, in the form of written documents, so they can read that was not available in my time. When in my childhood it was not available. So I can say preparation is much more easy now as compared to my time.
Good to know. And you mentioned that the technologies and many resources are available nowadays, so people can prepare well for any kind of exam in India, especially right now. So, but tell us something about what are the key focus areas in India you think being an IS officer are most important nowadays? What are those areas?
In for the IS officers, the most important and challenging area is that how to involve, how to take active participation of the masses of the public in governance, because civil servant and masses, there is a gap in between, and because of that the governance is going down. To find out the solution of this, how to involve the masses, how to take their all sorts of inputs, how to motivate them so that they should start taking the ownership of all the projects and programs, then we can govern properly, we can improve our governance to good governance to smart governance. So this is the challenge, because public participation in governance is reducing. It is my personal opinion. So the gap between the government and the masses is growing, and as a result what is happening, we are not able to live up to the expectations of the public and masses. So this is challenge in my opinion.
But sir, you just now talking about the interface between society and also enabling them and helping them to to understand what they are doing and how they are doing it. But as per the code of conduct, in every IS and IPS officer and civil service, there is a code of conduct, right? So imagine that you being an IS officer, if you are interacting with public masses, public group, possibly there are some restrictions, there are some protocols. How you ensure that, how IS officer or IPS officer can ensure that they are not breaching any code of conduct, even they are contacting public group, they are in any kind of activity out of their services, because that is a major challenge right now. So what, how you see this code of conduct can be treated as a part of duty without disputing or without breaching the code of conduct?
Actually, this is a misconception. There is no such code of conduct that we can't connect the public. We are for the public, by the public, of the public. ठीक है? So the civil servant and IS officer who is living and governing from inside the public is getting good results, and it is not demand supply that public is demanding something, some social products, and we are supplying. That is not the process of the governance. What is the actual process? That government, public and government work together like a coin, two sides of a coin. For example, we are developing social products in different departments, okay, in the pharma projects, programs, scholarship, donation, and everything, medical facilities. And who is the purchaser? Public is purchaser. We sell these products to the public free of cost to see their welfare. If there is no connection, there is gap, people are hesitating, people are having fear in their mind to come to our offices, our product will be not sold. So governance will go down. So what you are saying, there is no such protocol. You can wear any dress, you can sit on the, where it is written that you have to do meetings on tables. You go in the village, sit on the dari and do the meetings like a gaon panchayat. I did all such meetings. So it makes a good connect, there is a good flow of the information, and it is the effective communication and effective message transferring. So it is the clue that there is code of conduct, so that we are not able to connect. I do not agree. As a district magistrate, I used to live in the masses. From inside the society, I used to govern. And one more thing I tried, that the leader should be the public, not the DM or district magistrate. Okay. In the leading role, I keep always the masses and I keep myself behind the line so that I can keep pushing them. That is what this is the way to take the active involvement and participation and ownership of the masses.
Good to know. But being an additional mission director for National Health Program in Uttar Pradesh in India, can you tell us something about what is a core mission for that as you're managing that role and leading that mission?
Actually, in the health sector, in the health department, our sole responsibility to provide affordable, timely, and cheap medical facility. Okay. When I talk personally, when I talk about the medical, so I use to tell one sentence: prevention is better than cure. This is the complete word, sentence which defines the medical department health, what we are doing and what it should be. We are focusing on the cure, but in the sentence priority is given prevention. So our this practice is not up to the mark. We have to change our focus from cure to prevention. So government is trying to mix up cure with the prevention. That's why Ayush Mantralaya has been working day and night to promote the preventive things. In Corona, what we did, masking, distancing, washing is the prevention. Yoga, food habits, positive thinkings. And to promote this line, we are creating wellness centers. And in that wellness center, we are not providing only cure facilities, but prevention facilities also. So this is a good move in a right direction, so that we should provide in any medical facility both cure as well as prevention.
Good to know that your thoughts around that. But in last 7 years, as per the report by Indian Express, if you look at since 2013 and the report published in 2016, over 100 servants, those left services during a midway, right? And it's a huge loss for civil services system, because those are talented civil aspirants, civil officers are living system in between. So what is your way of thinking on the situation, how this can be prevented and handled by system?
Actually, I first of all I would like to say this is not loss. If a brain is there, whether it is working in the public sector as officer or they are going to join a private sector MNC, so they are serving either as a private or as a public. They are serving the society and they are promoting, they are creating public goods for the betterment of the society. So I do not agree personally that that is not a loss. The question you posed to me that people are leaving the civil services, why? Reason being, civil services is the best platform to serve the society. If you have the inclination to serve the society, you are having social thought process, your mindset is of doing social work. If with this mindset you are joining the civil services, no match to this post. Okay. But if you are having any other idea, any other objective and joining IAS post to fulfill that, certainly you will have to follow this route. After some time you will have to leave, because that creates suffocation and frustration. For example, I enjoy helping the poor, downtrodden, last man of line. So this post I am enjoying. But if I would have a sense that I would make money, I should have a huge salary, which is not possible here. So only social oriented, social thought process mindset people can stay and enjoy. Rest cannot. Rest have to go out to exit.
Good to know that. And you mean that the people who are joining with different kind of mindset and objective while joining civil services, possibly those kind of people cannot survive, and they are not able to feel that okay, that environment is ready for them, and that's what you rightly mentioned. Okay.
And one more thing I would like to add. Actually, the governance is a very complex and complicated, and we have so many departments in government of Uttar Pradesh. In the state government, 80 departments, and you have to tackle all the departments together. So that is a very challenging job. So if a person is not having a habit are not having the equipment to take such big challenges, they will face the frustration. They will after going out after some time, or they will not enjoy it. So that is also another challenge. That is not a actually governance is a complete magnet, north pole, south pole. For example, if I have been if I have been in USA for 1 year, so that is my north pole. Uh, on one hand, on the other hand, I have lived in the childhood in and I have studied in the primary. So both together made me a complete magnet. So in both the situation, one has to adjust. If they do not have that capability, they will not enjoy this. For example, my son, I tried to convince that you join the civil services, but his mindset was not like me, so he did not opt. He went out. He is now enjoying because of he is not having the same mindset which I do have.
Yeah, but sir, there are many difficulties, right? If you look at the ground reality, imagine that there are many people who are civil services aspirant, and they feel that they have to work under a person who is not even matching that educational capabilities. I'm talking about any ministers, right? Because when IAS and IPS, they have to work under some structure, some system. But a system, the person who's in the system, who is managing IS and IPS officer, is not capable in the term of education perspective I'm talking about, and not having any criteria in India. And in India, especially, this is a system whereas people from IITs, IIMs joins a civil services, highly qualified doctors like you are now IS officers. Those are doing their work, but there is a pressure from a system in the term of chief ministers, secretary, and all. That's what the real talent get dominated, and real talent feel that if I join, I have to work under a people those are not even capable enough as per the my standards, and that's what mostly people are not joining civil services, right? How you see this challenge is a problem for a system, because this is actual problem. If you look at, many people ask me, right? Many people, when I go to any conference and interviews, people ask me, Roshan, you should have in civil services, because people like you should be there to ask questions and work for society. I says always, I wish, but I cannot, because of there are the parameters, right? There are parameters, as I mentioned. If I have to work, I have to join civil services, there are the protocols, there are system where I have to follow. And if you don't follow, even those are wrong, possibly you will get transferred to some different state. And that is a reality. So how you see this as a problem, and what is your way of thinking to handle the situation?
Actually, your question has answer also. है ना? It is the answer is inbuilt. You told that we are more learned, we are more educated as compared to the our ministers and all that. But I do not agree with that. We are theoretically more educated, they are practically more educated. Okay. For example, I am telling there is a Ram Saran Burma. He is Padam Siri in agriculture. He is known as a banana man. He is just earth pass. So many PhD, IIM, agribusiness management go to him to learn. So he is educationally not good, but practically he is PhD. Okay. Likewise, in in administration, 80% in 80%, I will say not 89, in 90% cases, there is no interference at all. It is my experience. And only it is 10% in which we have some interference. Okay.
Mhm.
So in the contain of that 10% interference, we do not do 90%. who is preventing you to do 90%? Please do 90%. Do not see the 10%. So that is the a plea that there is much interference and we are not able to work. I am not denying the fact there is interference, there is not very conducive atmosphere. I do agree, but in 90% you do. That is my philosophy. In 90% I focus my energy and I perform. Second thing, we have a small family and we are managing that family. There also we are sometimes we get failed, not always pass. So like family, if we are not able to manage a small family, we are all blood related. In a complex governance system, there are many official different representative. So that is your equipment to manage all. Here there is a test of your equipment to manage all together to get the desired results. You are, as you told, that we are more educated and not the ministers, so it is our responsibility to manage our ministers, our less educated officials. So if we are not able to do that, it means we are not discharging our duty. One thing, and to say we are more educated, I do not agree. If we are not able to get the desired result, how we can say that we are more educated? Prove your education by
Good point.
convincing, by coordinating, and by hook, by crook, by any way. I can say you have to manage your top and your bottom both, because you are in the middle, and that is your the basic role of the bureaucracy.
Good to know, sir. And you rightly mentioned that is a right practical situation on the ground, right? Whereas sometimes your education is not education is like piece of paper, right? And ultimate goal is to implement and execute the work which are assigned to you. But being a honorary advisor for a model GAO, that are the current the project we are working right now along with many NGOs. So what is the mission and what are the key challenges right now you're facing through? If you could just walk us through, it will be great.
Actually, Model Gaon is a project run by a retired CGM NABARD, Mr. Munish ji,
Mhm.
and its activities and actions based on the result which are tested, tried, and verified in a
Mhm.
district where I was collector for 1.5 years. So I am honorary mentor to this project. This project is run by the Munish ji as honorary president. It has a office, a CEO for assistance, and it is supported by the ICCI Foundation. And what is the Model Gaon? Model Gaon is nothing but to practice, realize the dream of Republic Village, Gram Swaraj of Mahatma Gandhi, and Pura, providing urban amenities to rural areas of Dr. APJ Kalam with the help of technology. It has three parts. First part is the village manifesto. Okay, through village manifesto we are trying to tell what is development, what is the 25 developmental indicators, and we are creating the demand for the development in each and every villager. Okay, so that creates an environment in
Mhm.
part one through village manifesto. Anybody can develop his or her village manifesto online with his own photograph. Part second is the change maker. We are selecting the good people who is enjoying the social services, who enjoy serving the others, and we empower them through knowledge. Knowledge is power. So we send them to best practices to learn the best practices, come back and practice that in their village to improve the economic and social and political conditions of the village. That is the change maker. Third point is the farmer producer company. Villagers will form their farmer producer company, they will run and operate their farmer producer company, so that they should do agri business in place of agri, because
Mhm.
activity. That's why people are going away from the agri. So we are trying to form a farmer producer company, and to promote this, government of India, state government, local government is promoting by financial technical arts of the assistant to farmer producer company. The very good result what we started in just January 21, and after 2 months we started corona started. So the in odd situations our this idea is widely accepted, encouraged, appreciated, and we are trying to reach the villages in UP through technology, because we are trying to use the power of technology to
Mhm.
improve the Gaon government governance to good, from bad to good. 4G, we are trying to get 4G. Gaon government governance from bad to good. Because if the governance of the village will improve, there are three level government: government of India, state government, and Gaon government. We criticize the government of India, we criticize the state government, but we never criticize the village government. That's why we are not getting the expected results. So our motto through this project is that to improve the Gaon government governance to good. It is not good. So from bad to good. So that is the motto behind it. And the challenge is that to change the mindset, that is very difficult. So through SBCC, social behavioral change communication, with the help of technology, we are getting good results, but it will take time, because changing mindset, changing culture, changing idea takes time. So we are satisfied with our results. We are in 21 states, we are in all 75 districts of UP. We have got many connection outside the country. From California, there is a smart village movement project run by Dr. Anil Shah, who is from Gujarat. So we got connected. When he came to know about our this project, we are in touch. We are trying to collaborate with them. So I will not say the challenge, because we are getting wide acceptance of this work, project, and idea.
Good to know. Before signing up, sir, just walk us through what is your key learnings from during this entire service being an IS officer in last more than 20-25 years, right? What are those key learnings? Whereas young aspiring candidate for UPSC, those what they wanted to become IPS, IS, IFS, what they should take care of, what is their starting point, and how they can, some tricks and techniques which you learn through the entire journey if they join as an officer in civil services. What are those? What is your thought on that for the feedback or advice perspective? What they should start with and how they should start with?
They should start not as a that they are going to rule over them. Actually, when we get selected in the civil services, we become ruler. Okay, so this mindset starts diminishing our progress. We should always start that we are going to serve them. We are not boss of the society. We are the family head of the society. The basic problem is that when we join the civil services, we become boss, we become uh, ruler. That mindset is not helping us. This is reducing our governance. But if you will have this mindset that no, I am here to serve the society, and I am not boss, I am the family head. If you will have this type of mindset, हम कह the सोने की चिड़िया, golden bird,
Bye.
it will come back. Okay, and then you will enjoy this post. Otherwise you will not enjoy this post, because mostly people of this mind, what they think: I am boss, I am ruler, I am above all. So this mindset disconnects you from the society. and we drive energy and enjoyment from the society. If you are disconnected, how you can drive energy and enjoyment from the society? So your governance will come down and you will not enjoy at all. And that's why frequent transfer is in the picture. This is one main thing.
It's good to mention, right? You mentioned rightly, people has to connect with people, and they should not think that they're a king of kingdom. They should feel that they are a family of the kingdom, whereas they can, they can be part of entire society, and they can help other people to to encourage and motivate to do something more, and that is the role of any civil officer.
One more thing I would like to add in this.
Hmm.
People hesitate to meet civil servants. People have many have fear to meet. Why we have created this atmosphere? We will have to kill this atmosphere. People should feel free. People should not fear. People should not hesitate to meet us. Okay. The moment we will create this atmosphere, our governance will become good governance. And that is my style. Connect, communicate, and cooperate. 3C. I follow the formula. Connect, communicate, cooperate. Please connect to the masses. Communicate in their local language, Bhesh, Bhusa, and Bhojan. Say local language, local attire, and local fooding. Okay, that is these 3 points are also very helpful in connecting, in conversing, and getting their cooperation. It is not always that people need our cooperation. At many point of time, we need the cooperation of the masses. So connect, communicate, and cooperate. Please do not think boss yourself. The moment you will become the boss, things will gone.
It's very valuable point you mentioned. And I think viewers, those are watching this interview, possibly they will understand how to connect, and at least they should understand the right, basic right, not to be afraid for contacting any IPS, IAS if they need some support or they need some kind of guidance, right? And even you rightly mentioned for at least civil service aspirant, how they can prepare, how they should think after joining civil services, and it was valuable insights you just shared. That it was really honor and pleasure to have you on Transparent Times, Dr. Hiral. It was great to have you again, possibly upcoming years, when you have new projects, new upcoming, any different model. Now you're modeling different we are looking for a different kind of mission which you can come across, and you would like to share with our audience. And we will invite you again soon. Till the time we would say goodbye and wish you all the best for your projects which you are managing right now. Thank you very much for having your time.
Thank you for inviting me and giving this opportunity to discuss with you. And I hope we will meet again very soon with a different domain, different topic to tell something better to the society in a very simple way like today.
Definitely, sir. It is really valuable, and it's definitely will invite you soon again. Thank you very much, and have a great day.